How do you like recover from a fail like that?
Oh, well, I already alluded to it, but having people in my life that I can call.
Yeah.
Like Doug's heard me quit like 8 times, and now
is there like an emoji you send?
I need a I quit emoji. Because he's like, all right, man, take a night off. I'll talk to you in the morning at this point. Because he knows sometimes I just need to he needs to let me just vent and spiral a little bit and I'll be fine tomorrow. I just need to be embarrassed and allow myself to be embarrassed.
What is up, you guys? We're here, Young Adult Podcast, and we've got Ryan Wekenman.
Hello, Casey.
He's here. He just taught at one event. It was the best night of his life.
Yeah.
He was just telling me.
Yep. That's exactly what I was saying before we started rolling. Yeah. That I kind of feel like doing Why Is One event will be like the epitome of my career. And it's all downhill from here.
Yeah. Books, whatever.
Yeah. Today is day 1 of the rest of my life, and it's not looking nearly as good as the first part. But that's all right.
We're happy to give you that. Yeah. We're happy to give you that. Just kidding. No, it was amazing. And the reason we're having him on is because there's so much to say. Well, you're on a podcast with, your besties at Red Rocks Austin called Afterthoughts.
Very famous podcast.
Very famous.
The crossover podcast episode, by the way, between YA Podcasts and Afterthoughts still gets talked about in Austin.
Does it
all
really?
The time. Oh, yeah. People loved it.
I felt like I was playing a game of jump rope because you guys are so quick with each other. And I was like, I'm here. Who are you? Oh, gosh, that was funny.
Jump rope is so funny.
It was amazing.
I feel that way with Doug and E all the time.
You guys are quick.
And when they start going, I'm always like, down by the banks. Or what do they sing during jump ropes?
I don't know. I'm not a
that
good
was
jump
the song,
rope. Yeah,
wasn't
that
it?
was it. Double dutch.
Down by the banks. I don't know.
No, it was. Whatever. We don't.
Yeah, it's fine.
We played real sports. Just kidding.
Exactly.
Sorry if you're a jump roper out there.
Hey, some of those jump ropers are no joke.
Yes. Sorry, guys.
To give credit where credit is due.
If you're a jump roper, it's my bad. God, get the glory through your steps.
But also, you can't really keep score. So I don't even know if it's a real sport.
Yeah, well, up for debate.
Anyways.
All right, sorry.
A lot of hot takes on this episode, Casey.
So we want to kick this episode off with an afterthoughts of your sermon, how you kind of got to teaching on that topic and things that you maybe didn't get to say or elaborate on that you really want to. But before we do that, and then we're going to talk about your new book that's out. But before we do that, we have an icebreaker. It's one of our favorites. Everyone wants to know. Everyone's on the edge of their seat.
Oh, boy.
What is after, I don't know, how many years of ministry?
15, 10, somewhere between 10 and 15.
You're a teenager in ministry.
That's a pretty big range I just gave you. Somewhere in there. I was like 2 to 30, somewhere in there.
Yeah. That's okay. What is your greatest ministry fail?
Ooh. Okay.
Haunts you.
Okay. So this one is going to sound... What you have to realize about this story is there was the thing that was happening externally, and then there was the thing that was happening internally. And externally, it's not going to feel like that big of a deal to you as I share this story. Internally, I was ready to quit. I was like, no, this is it. I literally called Doug on my way home and was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. So here's the story. It was about a year into ministry. I was working at this awesome church in California, and I was in charge of all the outreach, the local outreach, right? And so I was always trying to get people from the church to start serving, loving their neighbor, all of that. And so there was a Boys and Girls Club down the street, and they do this after school program where you teach kids to read and help them with their homework and just be a positive influence in their life, right? Yeah. And to me, I'm 23 at the time. And I'm going, oh, this is a layup. Everybody's free from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, because in college, it was just you do whatever and all of that. And so I'm thinking okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a big event at the Boys and Girls Club where I get up on stage and I tell the church about it. And then there's probably going to be 200 people that show up, and they're going to hear all about this, and they're going to realize that what I've been missing in my life is I need to go love my neighbor, and I'm going to dedicate 1 hour a week for the rest of my life to helping these kids with their homework, right? In my mind, I was like, this is the best idea that there is. And so I get up on stage and I say it just like that, which is great,
Babe Ruth called your shot.
Yeah, I was pointing to the center field fence. And then, so I go, so Tuesday night, come hang out at the Boys and Girls Club, and we're going to tell you everything, and it's going to change your life. And so that afternoon, I go to Costco, and I'm like, well, I got to feed them if they're going to show up. And so I order 20-ish pizzas. And you know how you do this. Like, then you go get like 2 liters. And so it's like a cart full of 2 liters. It's 20 Costco pizzas. It's all the snacks you can think of. I'm like, they're showing up for an evening. Like, we're going to deck this thing out. And so I get to the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm like filling up their entire kitchen with all this food. I've got plates everywhere. And this is, by the way, we know this is like, you do RSVPs so that you know this. You know how to plan. I didn't know that at the time. So I was just like, whatever. I'm going to put the announcement out. Casey, 2 people showed up.
No.
2 people showed up. 2 people. One of them was already a part of it and like had been for years and was like the person pushing me to get more people. The other person was like a mom who was there, like just there to get some more information, didn't end up doing anything. And so my opening line, like as I'm standing up, I have this like sermon that I've worked hard on. My opening line is, so we all get to go home with a lot of pizza tonight. That's the good news. And meanwhile, the Boys and Girls Club leaders are like, sweet. So glad I like am here for a night.
Horrible.
So I know like you might be listening to that going like, that's not that big of a deal. As you are like standing up in front of 2 people, hoping that it was 200 people. And then you see the 20 pizzas like staring at you. Like,
no.
You know the head games that go where it's just like, I don't know how to do this.
Totally.
So I literally called Doug on my drive home and I was like, dude, I quit. This isn't for me.
Here's the devastate. You seem like a very self-aware person as well. So to like get up there and be like, I know that I like empowered that room and they're all coming, and to be so wrong.
I was so wrong.
When you are normally right, I feel like you can read a room. No, like your job as a pastor is to be like, what's going on in the room?
Yeah.
How are they responding? And then
I missed every sign that nobody was interested.
Dang it. That's horrifying.
It was horrifying.
I'm so sorry.
So the moral of the story is set your expectations very low for what God is going to do in and through you, and then you'll never be disappointed.
Oh,
no,
that's
I'm kidding.
good.
I'm kidding.
And that segues
and maybe do
us
some
in.
RSVPs so you know. No, you know what? Let me redeem this for a second.
Okay.
I look back at my younger self and I go, yeah, but you were going for it and you were believing.
That's
you know?
good. That's good.
And like I've always had a bit of a delusional faith in the best way.
Yeah.
I've never said that phrase out loud before. That's kind of cool. Delusional faith, it's not delusional because we're limiting God. It's delusional because we're limiting at some level or because we're not going to limit. I'll say it like this. It's delusional because we're not going to limit what God can do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work out that way. In fact, it usually doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
But I'm really good at like setting the bar up here.
Yeah.
And then you land somewhere around here. If you're listening to this, I'm using my hands to speak, but you land somewhere around here, but also like, that's great.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think I look back on that and I laugh about it, but then 2, I go, but you were going for it.
Yeah.
You know, and like never stop like setting the bar really high and believing that God's gonna work in and through your life.
How do you like recover from a fail like that?
Oh, well, I already alluded to it, but having people in my life that I can call.
Yeah.
Like Doug's heard me quit like 8 times, you know, and now
is there like an emoji you send?
I need a I quit emoji. Because he's like, all right, man, take a night off. I'll talk to you in the morning at this point. Because he knows sometimes I just need to he needs to let me just vent and spiral a little bit and I'll be fine tomorrow. I just need to be embarrassed and allow myself to be embarrassed. And so I think that's the biggest thing I've learned is, or like young ministry me would always try to cover up my failures. Right? And like paint over them and gloss over them. Like I've probably told that story and spun it in a way where it wasn't so bad, you know? And the older I get, the more I'm like, I will boast about my weaknesses.
Yeah.
Right. It's because actually when I'm weak, that Christ gets all the glory anyways. And so when I'm weak, he's strong. And so I'm just going to let myself feel what I'm feeling, even if, or maybe especially if that's embarrassment.
Yeah. That's so good.
You know?
And I like taking the risk. That's now how you look ahead of like, okay, that might happen again, but like, I'm not going to stop going for it.
Yeah.
Which I think this generation, there's like a paralysis right now with fear. And we'll get in, to.
Wait, say more about that.
Yeah, I just think they're paralyzed to make the wrong choice. Like I lead a small group on Mondays just to kind of because there's like 500 people that come to young adults. And sometimes I don't always have like the heartbeat of what's really going on. I have a few people that come up and talk to me. But I'll feel like, man, we're given messages where they're being discipled. And the prayer request at the end of the day is like discernment, 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 which that's a beautiful thing to ask God for. But it's like discernment into like, if I make the wrong choice though, like I'm done. It's done.
Yeah.
And the lie of like, if I make the wrong choice, it's going to be like this forever.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be haunted by this forever.
Yeah, there's a cliff right here I'm going to fall off of if I turn left instead of going right.
And I don't know if it was like that. I mean, we're a similar age, I feel, right? Aren't we? I don't know. But in our 20s, it felt that way a little bit.
Yeah, we're in our 20s.
No, I'm not. I'm in my 20s. They all just found out I'm not in my 20s, and it felt like I let everybody down in YA.
We trusted you, Casey. We used to trust you.
I'm like, you should want me to be older than you. What is going on? Sorry, that's a tangent. It was like a letdown in the room. I was like, I just lost respect somehow. I'm not in the same ditch that you're in, so I can throw a rope down. You're welcome.
Yeah, we understand.
Anyway, so, okay, let's pivot just because I want to get into a million things.
But let's get back to that eventually because there's a lot there.
Yeah, there is.
That fear and that indecision that I do feel like is so important to talk about. That like He's not going to steer a parked car. He's going to, as you continue to take steps and move forward, guide you along the way.
Yeah.
And so like take steps and get things wrong.
Yes.
And risk a little bit of embarrassment. It's okay. You're going to live.
Yeah. And that's why I like your book as I was reading it. Every chapter is like a story of Ryan failing.
Every single one.
But they're not these big, like, he fell. It's like these micro internal, like you almost looking at yourself from this vantage point of like, not judgment, but like assessing how maybe you were performing or comparing or how you were like trapped within a maze of self.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's super helpful. Like I was reading it and I was like, oh, that's not necessarily, it doesn't look sinful based on the definitions we know. Like, oh, you weren't you were actually partying less in one of the stories, but you were assessing like your spiritual self-centeredness. Yeah. And then you were like, that's not good. Yeah. Like I was trapped.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was always putting so much pressure on me and leaving me feeling weary and burdened. That's why, like I talked about at the one event, is like, okay, if you want to experience the rest for your soul that Jesus promises us in Matthew 11, the only way to get there is to constantly go to Jesus, is to constantly put Christ back at the center of the story, to let the Lord be your shepherd. Because if you try to be your own shepherd, you're going to end up being weary and burdened every single time. And I've just done this long enough to know, like, one, I'm obviously like my primary audience. I was talking to people who were far from God, going like, you need Jesus to be your savior. But I was also talking to people who get that and who have been following Jesus for a long time. Because like in the book, that's really like, I'm writing to people going like, look, along the way of learning to be more like Jesus, we find ourselves back in the middle of the story all the time. And spirituality has a weird way of throwing us into the maze. Like prayer is such a beautiful thing, but the enemy's so good at whispering our ear, like trying to get us to make it about ourselves. Yeah. So talking to God becomes about like, how good am I doing at talking to God? And am I better than that person? Yeah. Serving is the same way. It's such a beautiful thing to go serve somebody else, to show up to church and be a part of something bigger than yourself that you're not getting paid for. But like, how easy is it to go, but that's my role and I'm like the best server here. Yeah. And then somebody else shows up and they start getting more attention and validation for it. And then all of a sudden you're in the comparison trap for serving. And it's like you're doing the best thing, but you still put yourself at the center, you know?
Gosh, I know. And even working in ministry,
well, we don't struggle with it because we're professionals.
No, I was reading your book and I was like, oh gosh, you had a line. And really quick, Ryan has a book coming out, Free Me From Me, Escaping the Maze of Self-Centeredness by Embracing a God-Centered Life, that you talk about and you're referencing throughout your message. But what was it? You had this line where you were like, either I quit or I need to like kill the performer in me.
Yeah.
And for me, I've had so many of those reckoning moments, but recently I had like in January, I was like, I am deep soul level tired. Like the most tired I've ever been, probably in my life. Yeah. And I'm like, aren't I supposed to understand that like I'm teaching people to yoke themselves to Jesus, that his burden is light? And I came across a verse, 1 Peter 4:7. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says, remain sober-minded for the sake of your prayers. And this idea of being sober-minded so that I can pray in a way that isn't about me, because my prayers at that time were like, help me to do a good sermon. Help me to do a good job so I feel good about myself. Help me to, it was so all self-centered. And there's nothing more fraudulent feeling of being like, when self-centeredness is never more apparent to yourself when you have been called to literally serve for your vocation. So you just have this moment where you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, who am I? Like,
so
like I need to go ride a horse somewhere and like be grounded. And
so true.
So for
prayers especially.
I know. And I'm like, why am I praying? I'm vain, like vanity. I'm like, my prayers are like, if my congregation was like, Casey's praying, she does a good job so people like her.
Yeah.
Ew. Yeah. I don't want to go there.
Yeah. A mentor of mine years ago, I thought I was crushing it. Yeah. Following Jesus, as we all do early on. And then the longer you go, the more you're like, I've got more questions than answers at this point. I sat down with a mentor of mine and he asked me about my prayer life. And I was like, oh, I'm a prayer warrior, like I've got this. And he goes, all right, imagine you had a transcript of every prayer you've prayed in the last 24 hours. And I go, mine would be so long, like trying to like beat him to the punch. It'd be like pages and pages and pages. I pray without ceasing, And he goes, fine, great. And he goes, what percentage of those prayers were for other people? And I like stop and I go, oh no. And I'm like thinking through it. And I go, I mean, probably honestly 0% of them. Right. And there's nothing wrong with praying for yourself. But to realize like how self-centered I've become even in my own prayers and like how freeing it is on the inverse of this, how freeing it is when you just stop and pray for other people. Yes. And like, the song, The Blessing by Elevation, when sometimes I'll just turn that on and it's like 8 minutes and I'll go for a walk and try to spend the entirety of the song. Like I pray for my family, I pray for my friends, pray for the church, pray for this person, pray for that person, and try to not bring it back to myself. And like try this right now or maybe today, because as soon as you start doing it, like it feels awkward and uncomfortable at first. Yeah. And I'll find myself even like 30 seconds in and be like, and also for my sermon coming up, and then I'll just stop, like no judgment, no condemnation, stop and go, nope, I'm praying for other people right now. And by the end of those 8 minutes, like all of the things that I was stressed out about during the day, really all the ways that I was going to try to perform and impress other people have just sort of melted away. And it's like, you're out of the me maze and you're just enjoying living life. And, to me, I'm like, this is the message that the world needs right now, because this is the message that I need right now,
Can you take me back to when you were in the church pew in Manhattan, like when you got the idea for this book? How did I remember reading you were in the back row and the whole service, you kept catching yourself trying to perform or being disappointed in your lack of like intuition to perform well in that context. Yeah. And then you like ended it and you were like, man, there's something here. Yeah. Can you just take us to that?
Thank you. It's a great question. The whole book, the course of the book, A Day That I Had in New York 3 years ago, unfolds as I go. And so there's like 4 different scenes from this day in New York. And the first one, I'm lost in Manhattan, which is ironic because the numbering system is so intuitive. But I end up, there's this old cathedral called St. Patrick's Cathedral, and I walk in the back and Mass is about to begin. And I'm in the middle of like a very intense season of ministry. and like the church in Austin is like really starting to explode, and we're having all these like good problems that people love to tell us. But to us, it's like, no, those are actually just problems.
Someone says that to you, you're like, sick. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Oh, really? So I don't have to solve it because it's a good problem?
Such a safe place to land.
It's
no,
a good, we're blessed to have good problems to solve, but overwhelming.
Yeah.
And all of this is like living down here somewhere, and it's starting to come up as I'm like so overwhelmed by the busyness of Manhattan. And I walk into this service and it's silent. It's quiet, which rarely happens, you know, especially in the middle of New York. And you know that feeling where like it's rare that we get to walk into a church service and not be in charge at some level.
Yep.
You know? I have that moment where I'm like looking around like, oh, I don't have to do anything right now. Like I can just be here. And the verse that gets read is from Genesis 2, talking about how like when God's creating everything, he takes a pile of dust and he breathes the breath of life into it. And I have this image of like, we were just a pile of dust at some point. Like before the breath of God, like God's exhale was our first inhale. This beautiful picture of being made in God's image. But before that, like I just saw this image of a pile of dust and it made me laugh so hard. I was crying very hard because I was like overwhelmed and stressed. And then I started thinking about a pile of dust, like worrying so much about like church numbers, you know, or how my latest sermon was like perceived, and if that joke was funny enough, and if that person likes me, or if that person has like thoughts about me or whatever. And like all of the all of the comparison games that we play, all of the performing, all of the controlling, like the image of a pile of dust having all of those thoughts is so comical to me.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's silly. I know this is a silly thought experiment, but that idea like set me free.
Oh yeah.
And so I just had this image of a pile of dust with like a top hat on, you know,
so
like
good.
on the middle of a stage being like, ah, da, da.
You think I'm awesome?
Yeah. You guys think I'm awesome? And, there's something so freeing about that. Or like a pile of dust comparing itself to another pile of dust.
Like who's better?
Who's better? Who's a better pile of dust? And,
Gosh, that's good.
And of course, like we're more than a pile of dust.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the premise of the book is God then breathed his life into us. And so we're not dust. The problem is we start to think that we're divine. And what it means to be a human being is to find ourselves in the middle of this where we go, I'm not dust, but I'm also not divine. I'm somewhere in between. I'm a human being made in the image of God. And so as image bearers, like we have this beautiful responsibility to reflect God's glory to the world, but it can be so easy to allow ourselves to fall into this trap of thinking that we're like God.
Yeah.
By putting ourselves at the center of the story. Yeah. And even like I was doing good things. I was building the church. I was working hard to love people as best as I could. And yet I just found myself putting myself right back in the middle of the story and in the middle of Manhattan, right, where there's like buildings everywhere. Yeah. And so this line, the me maze, like just came to me of like, I feel like I'm a mouse in a maze running around right now. And I felt like the Lord was just like, hey, yeah, but you don't have to be.
Yeah.
Like you just put Christ back at the center of the story. And that's where you find rest for your soul. The real kind of rest, like you were just talking about. The kind of rest that a good night's sleep doesn't give you. Soul level exhale. Oh, thank God I don't have to be the one in charge right now.
Me. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Do you feel like, I think this is a new concept for a lot of people, maybe at least beginning out in their discipleship. I think a lot of people think that's a one-time invitation. And then when they have gone off track I think, what does it look like for you to continually recalibrate? And do you have any practices right now as a leader? So I guess here's my question. It's a threefold. Sometimes I'll do this. I'll like start talking. Questions. And then in my brain, I'm like, I actually have 3 questions within this.
I love it.
One, you list these 4 different roles that we play. Yeah. That keep us stuck thinking about ourselves, that keep us stuck in the maze. So we have the performer, the comparer, the avoider, and the controller. Which one do you resonate with the most? Which is a question you were going to ask me later, but I want to hear which one you resonate and how it plays out. And then as you continue to lead and be on stage, and especially as you've like assessed your own tendencies to like be stuck in the me maze for whatever reason that's particular to you, how do you What practices do you have in your life that kind of keep you reoriented? Because I do think it's not a one and done. Oh, his yoke's easy. Great. Because you became a Christian how long ago?
Yeah, 2008.
2008. And
18 years ago.
You've been continually following Jesus, but now you're like, oh, I have a tendency to get stuck in this maze living in this culture. So maybe that was two questions.
I love it. Well, okay. So I think the first thing from 30,000 feet theologically that's like important for people to hear is salvation and sanctification.
Yeah.
Is kind of, those are two big churchy words. Let me break them down real quick. But the easiest way to think about it is salvation, putting your faith in Jesus, is this one time. It happens in a moment where you go, Jesus, I don't want to be the Lord of my life anymore. I don't want to be in the center anymore. Jesus, I want to put you back up on the throne. I want to make you the Lord of my life. And that's the best decision that you can ever make. And it's a beautiful thing, right? You get to trade in your unrighteousness for God's righteousness. But I think the mistake that we make sometimes is thinking like, okay, once I do that, then I'll never struggle again.
Yeah.
And to go later deeper, we start to fear that if I do struggle again, that means that maybe it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And so that's where sanctification comes in, where that's a lifelong process of, my definition is just becoming more like Jesus.
Yeah.
And so you get saved in a moment. That's salvation. Sanctification is this lifelong journey of practicing the way of Jesus and learning to look more like Jesus. Now you get to do it with no condemnation, because there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. That's the salvation part. Yeah. But the sanctification part, like, one of my favorite things to do is help people see like just how messed up I've continued to be for these last 18 years. You know, you see like Paul wrestling with this in Romans 7, where he's like, why do I keep doing the things that I don't want to do? Yeah. And this is the Apostle Paul, you know, like church planner extraordinaire, stud. Yes. And he's still like wrestling through. And so some maybe helpful language is there's the new self and the old self. And the Apostle Paul tells us that when we put our faith in Jesus, that the old is gone and that the new is here. But the truth is there's still residue hanging around from your old self. And the journey is learning to see that, identify that, repent of that. But you get to do all of that, and this is so important, without any fear of not having your salvation along the way, right? You are in Christ Jesus. Now you're learning how to be more like Jesus. Yeah. And so that's the big thing for me, is like this idea of the me maze. Yes, for the last 18 years, I've found myself back in the center of the story often. Yeah. In fact, the book is named after a prayer that I've just prayed 10,000 times. Free me from me, Lord, free me from me, free me from me. And like, I prayed every day. Especially in preaching days, I pray it like 1,000 times. Yes, free me from me, free me from me. Don't let this be about me. Yeah. And so I mean that to be like really encouraging to people who like, oh no, I'm making serving about me right now. Yeah, of course you are. You're human, you know? Yes. Like just stop, no condemnation, like loosen up a little bit, you know, let go a little bit. His grace is sufficient for you. Now just pray the prayer and keep going. Go find someone to serve, go find someone to love.
Because if you camp out there, it's still, now you're still zooming in on you.
So true.
Right? You're like,
dang, that was well said.
Right? I don't know. So I think you're right. Like, hey, move on quick. Yeah. I think about I always bring it back to sports. Don't look at me, Davis. He runs our podcast and he's probably like, she always talks about this.
Here we go.
But I think the most, like, we just watched the Winter Olympics.
Yes.
And I think so many people, you can feel different athletes' mental issues, struggles. I almost feel like I can you can see it. You can see the ones that are so anxious about making a mistake. You can see the ones who are coming back from an injury. You can see all of it. And there was a figure skater. She won the gold. I don't even remember her name. But her whole story was that she was 16, won worlds, was taking it way too serious, crippling anxiety, fear, the whole thing, quit. Then 5 years later was like, no, I think I can come back to this, but be free. And have it not ruin my life. And one of her keys was just I'm just being out there is the win. And so everything else that happens after that is just a part of the win. But it's forgetting your mistakes very quickly, learning from them, but then not holding them to any part of your identity as an athlete or whatever. All that to say, her mind game, her mental game was so simple. And then you watch her skate and you were you're not even there. Like, it's her. She's as free as you can imagine. And I think that's why she won. Yes, she was talented and skilled, but watching her, you had no anxiety. Like, there was nothing transferred.
That's so good.
I know. And so it's so interesting hearing their like post-game speeches, but there is something about the way that they view mistakes, the way that they're detached from them, the way that they can like press on and know that their identity is not in them. And so I'm always trying to get there. And
Scotty Scheffler is the same way in golf. If you follow golf at all. So there's everybody else, and then there's Scotty right now. Like, he is the guy. He's so good.
Wow.
But when you listen to his post games, he's always just like, this is what I do. But I love God. I love my family. It's fun that I get to provide. It's fun that I get to be out here playing a sport.
I know. I'm like, how do I get there?
Dude, there's millions of dollars on like every shot.
Yes.
You know? And
what do you think it is?
The answer is it's 2 words: in Christ. In Christ.
Yeah.
In Christ. So all throughout Paul's writings, he's always talking about there's no now condemnation for those in Christ.
So good.
And to me, those 2 words mean I'm in Christ, and so I'm now freed up to put Christ at the center of the story. I don't have to try to be my own shepherd anymore because I have a shepherd.
Yeah.
And even when I forget and I start trying to be my own shepherd again, or I start being like that pile of dust trying to perform and make people laugh or whatever, I can just stop and go, but I'm in Christ.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to play this game anymore. And in fact, I'm going to boast about my weaknesses to get back to what we were talking about earlier, and just be freed up to live this way.
What are the signposts in your own heart? Because I think sometimes I'll look back and be like, oh gosh, Casey. Like, I'll look back, yesterday. Yeah. How do you in the moment, like, oh, I'm doing it. This has become about me. All right, it's happening. Do you have like a prayer? Is it the free me from me prayer? What does that look like for you in the moment to recalibrate?
Oftentimes for me, it's in conversation when I start making it too much about me. And so like you and I are having a conversation, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, am I spiritual enough on this podcast? Am I being funny enough? Am I talking about me too much? Was that joke funny? Was that joke mean? Like, Ryan, say something smart. Nope, say something smarter. Now you're a know-it-all, and like, you know what I mean? That spiral is a massive indicator for me where I just go, oh yeah. And I'm like learning to laugh about it now. Like, there it is.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it. And you stop and you pause and you like in my mind, that's where I pray the prayer. Free me from me, Lord, free me from me. And then my way out, my practical way out is I try to celebrate someone, right? And so especially like bonus points if you start celebrating someone that you are comparing yourself to.
Yes.
And you're going like, well, that person, whatever it is funnier than me or prettier than me or richer than me or more spiritual than me or whatever. I just stop and I go, hey, I want to just take a moment and just shout this person out.
Wow.
And don't do it in a way, sometimes it'll just be a text message between me and them where I just go, hey, I just want to let you know I see you and you're crushing it. And I just wanted to celebrate that you're doing such a good job in this and that I'm with you and I'm in your corner. I'm fighting for you. And don't do it in like the passive aggressive Christian way, where you like, and while I got you here, a couple things you could work on, like just celebrate them.
Dude, a backhanded compliment.
Oh, yeah.
I get a lot of those.
Same.
Like, okay.
Wait, tell me, here's the best one.
Yeah, you share yours. Well, let's just go there.
Your preaching has gotten so much better.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. Ryan?
Do you get it too?
Oh, yeah, I got it 2 weeks ago. I was doing a pastoral meeting and we were talking all about her. And then all of a sudden it was like, can I say something? And I'm like, you always brace yourself when maybe that's not good as a pastor, but you just never know what people want to meet about. And I'm like, all right, it's coming. I don't know what it is. She's like, you've just gotten since last year so much better. And I'm like, didn't realize last year I was floundering around.
Tell me about last year's sermons.
Tell me about how bad I was. New to me. Super new to me.
Totally, right?
Or you're just, so passionate up there, but there's like a tone of like, not like really kind of my style, but for the youth. I'm like, okay.
So cool, Ryan, how you like overcompensate for your lack of knowledge with energy. You know, that's what I hear. You know, like you don't really know that much, but you've got passion.
You really care a lot.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Thank you, everyone. We know we're all trying.
Okay. But
yes,
let's press into this for a second.
Yeah.
Because that is actually our own insecurities, right?
Totally.
Like that person is actually giving us a genuine compliment. And like, how cool is it that my preaching has gotten better?
Yes.
But the part that's keeping me in the me maze is I'm like, oh, so my sermon last year was bad.
Oh my gosh, totally.
Right. And so whoever's listening to this, like we love you and thank you. And you're helping us, you're helping to reveal an insecurity in ourselves.
That's good.
Where we just go like, of course our sermons are getting better. Hopefully they are.
Yes.
You know, like what are we doing if we're not getting better?
Such a good point. No, it's true.
The me maze component there is that comparison trap that we're falling into, where we're almost like comparing ourselves to our former selves. And then that, like, what a beautiful opportunity to go like, oh, look at 23-year-old Ryan trying to rally the troops in his church to serve at the Boys and Girls Club, setting the bar way too high, ordering way too much pizza, wasting too much money of pizza that was probably thrown away.
Yeah.
But awesome. You were going for it. I'm not going to compare myself to my earlier self. I'm just going to celebrate where I was. I'm going to celebrate where I am.
Wow.
And more than anything, I'm going to realize that God really doesn't need me as much as I think that he needs me. And so let's just exhale.
Yeah, that's so good. That's probably one of my biggest, is comparing to a previous version. Or even within transition, like when you guys, this is a tangent, but that's how conversation's supposed to go. You guys launched Austin, but you were here at something really successful and then felt called to launch and start from ground zero.
Yeah.
In the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
How was it so easy to compare yourself to a former self in a different context? And
so funny.
That would be the most haunting, I think. Like, oh, previous Ryan was crushing it, but what about current Ryan? And have I regressed? And
you know, what's fun is, like Pastor Sean's one of my favorite humans in the world. Only ever been like in our corner cheering us on. Right. So wild that we got to do what we got to do to go start a Red Rocks location in Austin, Texas. He surprised us week 1 and showed up. We didn't know he was going to be there.
Oh gosh.
And so him and BZ come in and like, so just nothing but pumped to see them. And there's that little small voice in the back of my mind that goes like, so, but this isn't going to be like what we got in Denver. You know, we're in the shared workspace that we just set up and there's like people trickling in very slowly, you know, and they've been so great they do nothing but like, you guys are crushing it. You guys are crushing it. You guys are crushing it. And in other words, this isn't a them problem. This is a me problem. Yeah. But it is where it's like, our big brother, so to speak, has always just been this like super successful thing where it's just like always growing and heaven's getting more crowded like crazy and the baptism numbers are out of control. I remember our first baptism, we had 23 people and we were so fired up and so stoked. But like you see the baptism numbers at Red Rocks across the board, you know, and it's hard to not be like, hey, no, those 23 are 23 human beings. Yeah. Like eternal souls who need and deserve our love and respect. And that's something that Pastor Sean's just helped us with over the years is like, it's the Heartbeat Behind the One conference is we set the bar high, we shoot for the stars. We want to make heaven more crowded to the best of our ability. And we never stop celebrating the individual stories and the one, you know? And so, comparison, that's been a fun thing to work through over the years. Is like, and to get to the point, like, I feel like I can say this so confidently, like there's just nothing but excitement for every part of Red Rocks for me now. Yeah. And I would say that for every church.
Yes.
Where like in my younger years, I might've gotten jealous of like, oh wait, there's like people are worshiping all night at that like campus over there. Like, that's so cool. Why isn't that happening here? It's flipped now to just like, that's so great. Like, yes, more of that. That's so good. That's a win.
And it's like so genuine.
A kingdom win is a kingdom win.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And so there's a lot of freedom in that place.
That's so good.
But it's been a process for me for sure.
Yeah.
The comparison trap is real for me.
I know. No, I love though that I love in your book with each of the traps, there's like a way to break down the walls and get out. And they're all these spiritual practices that feel very doable. And I'm excited for people to experience that. Like with the like diagnosis, there's also like really practical, clear things that God has given us to get us out.
Good. Thank you.
I felt that. I really did.
Good. As a writer, like I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
You know, I love just telling stories, but the feedback I always get, and my brother's good at reminding me of this, is like, hey, but you also got to give them like handles to hold on to as you go. So I'm really glad that came out. That in the midst of it being a bunch of stories, it's actually very, very practical.
No, it is. I'll preach and end a sermon and not give anyone a handle, and then someone will come up and be like, so what do I do? And I'm like, I want to die.
Totally. Come back next week.
Like, amazing. You know what? Such a good question. Where were you yesterday when I was finishing this message? Yeah, come back next week for my intro. Okay, a couple more things, and then we'll do some rapid fire questions from our interns for you.
Okay.
But I want to talk about the bookmark that you gave out. What's the heart behind that?
So the heart behind the book Free Me From Me is the beginning of Psalm 23. David, man after God's own heart, didn't get everything right all the time. We know that, but what makes David so beautiful, such a beautiful like person in history that we love and we celebrate, is that when he began his most famous psalm, he said, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing." And I just had this sense one day that like what I'm doing is I'm being my own shepherd. Mm-hmm. And so the anthem of our day is, I am my own shepherd, I better figure this out. Yeah. And so I created these bookmarks in the book. I go through, I call it Me 23. As I went through and did a new rendition of Psalm 23, but with self at the center instead of putting the Lord at the center. Mm. And so on one side, it's Psalm 23. But then on the other side, it's here's Me 23. And so can I read this out loud?
Yes, please read it.
And then you tell me the line that sticks out to you.
Okay.
I am my own shepherd. I better figure this out. I never lie down in green pastures because I always feel like I'm running out of time. I hope I'm on the right path for my name's sake. I try to avoid the darkest valley because I'm terrified of what I may find. I know it's on me to protect myself, and that gives me very little comfort. I prepare my own table, but never sit down. I try to manufacture enough energy to get through the day because I'm on an endless search for goodness and love all the days of my life, and I will be searching for enough forever.
Wow. Oh gosh, Ryan. Well,
terrifying.
It's just like a knife to the gut.
By the way, so for anyone that's listening, that's not the psalm. That's the inverse of the psalm. Yeah. The real psalm is much better news.
No, but I think, oh gosh, I resonate with too much of it. Like it's like one of my diary entries, maybe one of my I was telling you before, I was like, my counselors heard me say, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
After every session.
Yeah, right.
But the one for me is the, I don't want to enter the valley because I'm afraid of what I'll find there.
Yeah.
And it's funny. We're like, well, Jesus, will you heal us? Will you do the deep healing work, to set us free? And he's like, I'm trying. Come down here. And I have an image. I actually said this. We just had a women's staff retreat up in the mountains. And I'm staring up at the mountains, worship music on the background. And I'm like, Lord, like, speak to me. Like, what are you doing in my heart? What are you doing in my life? And I got this image of myself, like we're at the top of the mountain and Jesus has his staff and he's shepherding me and we're about to walk down. Yeah. And when you have you hiked a 14er? Mm-hmm. There's like scree, which are those rocks that are really loose at the top that when you try to go down, you like slide the whole way down.
Yeah.
And it was this image of me like sliding down, but like clawing to get back to the top. Mm-hmm. And the look on Jesus's face is like, wait, we have to go down here. Yeah. Like we have to go down here because we're on a journey. And I was like, I don't want to. I can't. Like, in fact, if I even take a step, I'm afraid I'm going to slide all the way down. And then my prayer for the women was like that I would trust that he's leading me down there. And if he's leading me down there, he's going to lead me through and up. Okay. And I think healing in theory is something we really want. But in actuality, it's like, it's really scary. It's daunting to think about it, entering into it. And so, I don't know. For me, that really sticks out. And still struggling with like, oh man, there's the song, take another piece of my heart. You know that song? I always have like secular songs that I will feel are anthemic for me in a spiritual context. And I feel like I'm like, okay, God, like another piece.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, do you want to take another piece? But like, I've given you like a lot of pieces. And I feel like he was like, no, I want all of it, which I thought was like a cute phrase when I was in my 20s. Now in my 30s, I'm like, I thought you had all of it though. Like, I think, aren't we good with the whole healing? Like, I think we're good. So for me, at least in this season, that one stood out to me. But I know he's going down there with me.
Yeah, that's right.
So thank you.
No, thank you for sharing that. So part 3 of the book is the avoider.
Oh,
And
I should have read that.
Well, what's funny is I wrote the other 3 so fast. That's not true. It took me a long time to write. It took 3 years to write this whole thing, but I knew about the other 3 immediately.
Yeah.
And then I was like 2 years into the journey. I remember I was on a walk at my parents' house. I was like, there's something else. There's something else. There's something else. Like I've been avoiding something. And so I was like, ironically avoiding talking about being an avoider.
There's something else.
You know?
Where is it?
And
yeah.
how easy is it to avoid? And man, if we are our own shepherds, then the darkest valley is terrifying. But if the Lord is your shepherd, then it's actually fun.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't have to be intimidating. And it doesn't make it easy. I get that. And all of that. But that journey of going, okay, Lord, what's there?
Yeah.
And thank you that you are going with me in the midst of this. And so all that to say, I resonate with what you're saying. So thanks for sharing.
Well, I read all of the 4 and I was like, which one am I? So I was like, I'm the performer. But then as I kept reading, I was like, oh, all of these. Like I need to sit with all of these. And so blessings to us and this journey, Ryan.
Fun.
Okay, let's do some rapid fire really quick. Oh, before we get into rapid fire, when is the book being released? Where can people get it? All those details.
Yeah. Okay. So April 14th, the book is released. It's available now wherever books are sold. Pre-orders help tremendously. Okay. And so I know it's weird. We live in a day where it's like, if I order something, I want it in 4 hours, not 4 weeks.
Totally.
But if you pre-order it now, it's helpful for me. And then I also have a bunch of extra content for you if you do pre-order it. Maybe we can put a link in like the notes. But I have, first off, you get the first couple chapters now, but then I have a course called Survey of the Self. Cool. It's 6 sessions. It's a brief 3,500 year survey of how we became who we are. And so it's fun talking about like how our idea of the self has changed dramatically over the last 3,500 years. So if you pre-order now, I send all that to you. And yeah, it would mean a lot. I just am excited to hear your thoughts. Like it means a lot that you read it. Books are sometimes the challenge for me with sermons, and I love the craft of sermons, and I'll be doing it the rest of my life, Lord willing. Books provide more space to dive deeper into the same stuff. And so I'm really proud of what I've come up with over the last 3 years. And so I'm excited for people to read it.
Yeah.
And thank you for reading it.
Yeah, no, thanks for sending it over. Okay, that's great. We're going to move on to some rapid fire.
Let's go.
I was like, guys, we have awesome interns and our team sees you on Sundays, and so they're really pumped to ask you these ones. They're actually, some of them are deeper, so we're just still gonna go quick. So good luck. Blessings.
You want quick answers?
Well, we got some time. Not like, it doesn't have to be like one word,
okay,
but a lot of them we could definitely dive into more. 1, how do you not use notes when you preach? That was a question that somebody had. And then they said, crazy or genius? Crazy or genius?
Crazy. It's the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it is. Thank you to whoever asked that. I'm not, everybody has their own style, right? And
yes.
So I would never tell somebody else to do this. For me, though, I feel most comfortable when I've written out the entire sermon and gone on enough walks to internalize it. I don't want it to just be, let me say this. I live up here, okay, as you all have probably figured out by now. I don't want to preach from up here. I want to preach from here.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, I just pointed to my head and my heart. And so the game for me is, how do I get a sermon from my head down to my heart? And it's this beautiful long journey of internalizing the message. And so if I get up to say something on stage, I want it to be like real to me.
Yeah.
I want it to be internalized. And And that's true for every communicator. For me, the way to get there is to get to a point where I can be free up on stage without notes.
Yeah.
And this is not at all me telling any other communicator to do this, because lots of communicators are very good at being up on stage and having their notes just as like a guide.
Yeah.
For me, I get stuck and addicted to them when they're there.
Totally.
And so I stop being present and I start reading. My brother, Doug, is one of the best communicators that I know. He has every word written out and he has it up there on stage with him. You just don't know that because him and I are different in that regard. Like if that was me, I would be glued to it.
Oh, I bet.
Do you know what I mean?
I would be too. Yeah.
So this is not prescriptive. I'm not saying do this. This is descriptive, saying this is just my process. But the answer is crazy, not brilliant. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you do that and I was like, wonder if I could do that. And then no, I cannot. I've tried. I tried at a youth night. But I get the head to heart.
Yeah.
And the internalizing.
Yeah. And you do that part. And that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So to whoever the takeaway is not do it my way. The takeaway is work to internalize the message.
Yeah. That's so good. Okay. What is your relationship with social media?
Poor. No, I am awful at it. Okay, let me say this. If I had it my way, I wouldn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
I have lots of friends who don't have it, and I think that that's beautiful and amazing. I got convicted a couple years ago. Somebody was talking about how the Apostle Paul always went to where the people are. He would always go to the town square.
Yeah.
And then he said social media is the new town square. That's where the people are.
Yeah.
So there's this tension for me where it's like, I don't want it. It's not good for me. I can just easily get caught doom scrolling, watching golf videos. And then all of a sudden you blink and it's like, that was 30 minutes. What am I doing? But at the same time, I feel like I have something to say. And I feel like that's the place where people are. And so I'm currently in a season where I am downloading the app about twice a week and posting when I need to post and then deleting.
Yeah.
And that's just where I'm at right now. Because the thing is, like, the Apostle Paul did go to where all the people are.
Yeah.
But then he didn't return there 100 times a day to check.
Totally.
To see what was going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wonder if somebody said something about me. Whatever. And so for me, I have a love-hate relationship with it where I understand its effectiveness for the kingdom, but I still am not at a point where I have enough self-control to have it without letting it have me. And so I just am aware enough to download it, post, delete.
Yeah, that's good.
It's kind of embarrassing, honestly.
No, I've been playing around a lot with what I think about it and from a ministry standpoint. And right now I haven't been on it in 2 months. But there is a part of me that's like, oh, is that a little irresponsible as like somebody who works with young adults? Totally. But then I was like, but also I'm their pastor and I need to be good. Do it. Like I need to be. That's right. So I'm struggling with the tension and I don't know what I'll do. I just feel right now. Yeah. But we were all curious because it seems like you have a good balance. And yeah.
Well, thank you. That is only, I go to like pretty outrageous lengths to do that because I'm just aware enough to know that I'm not good enough at it.
Yeah.
To stay away from it. Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Okay. What is a non-spiritual discipline in your life that has grown your faith? I don't know what it was meant by non-spiritual. Maybe not like seemingly spiritual. Might be a better.
We could do a whole episode on that.
I know. I feel like it'd be fun. Cold plunge?
Yeah. I do love a good cold plunge.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. You know what? Water for me is just my happy place. And so surfing is my favorite thing in the world. In Austin, it's a little harder to do.
Yeah.
Although wake surfing is great. Mm-hmm. But every time I go to Hawaii once a year and go to California a couple of times a year to try to like some sort of routine to get back into the ocean. I get all my best ideas, but also I rest, and that like soul level rest for me is the ocean.
What is it about the ocean?
We could. This is supposed to be rapid fire because you're the same way, right?
Oh yes, yeah. I was just in Mexico for 3 days. I think it like every problem I've ever had is gone now. I'm not joking. I know,
Totally.
guys. I don't know what it is.
Totally.
Wading in the water,
Mm-hmm.
everything in it. Swim
Yeah.
out deep.
Okay. We live on earth in a day and age where Jesus has already died and resurrected, but hasn't yet come back in entirety to set everything right. So we live in a day and age where heaven touches earth every now and then.
Yes.
And inaugurated eschatology is the fancy way to say it. Already, but not yet is the easier way. So the kingdom of heaven is here already, also not yet in its entirety. And to me, the beach is the clearest picture of that, is a place where sea meets land.
Yeah, interesting.
So it's the same way that like we love to watch a sunset.
Huh.
You think about that, like the sun's out there all the time, but we don't watch it. But when it's setting, when the sun meets the earth, we watch it. When land meets sea, we want to be there.
How
There's
interesting.
something in the human, like God has wired something in us where we go because we know that we're created for something beyond ourselves.
Yes.
And I think that's a small little picture of it, is when you're on the beach.
Watching crowds of people arrested by a sunset. Doesn't matter what you believe, where you've come from, how old you are, how young you are. It's
Everybody
like
goes, there's something happening over there.
Oh my God.
Right?
Book number 3. No.
Dude, we could
Something about water. That's
talk
it.
For hours about that.
Gosh, that's good. Okay, my last one is this. And I think it'll be a fun one to end on just because our audience is young adults. What encourages you that you're seeing in young adults today?
So much.
Yeah.
So much. And by the way, great job leading young adults.
Thank you. It's been fun.
It's such an important time, and it's so encouraging to me I just feel like for decades there was this, we were almost allergic to truth. And so it was like everything, we had to like tiptoe around everything as to like not offend anybody. And young adults today just go, yeah, but we still live in reality. We still live in the world. So why don't we just talk about it?
Yes.
And so I see this really healthy longing for what's real. And the line I keep saying in our TikTok theology series is, truth isn't afraid of questions.
Yes.
Because questions actually just reveal what's true.
Yeah.
And so I think this generation is not afraid of questions. And because of that, it's revealing what's true. And that's why we're seeing a great outpouring of what the Lord is up to, of young people coming back to Christ. And I'm here for it and here to cheer it on and continue to pray for it and offer any wisdom I can. And honestly, just honored to have a seat at the table as we move forward. But I just believe that this generation is going to take the church far beyond what we could. And I'm here just to help throw the alley-oop as best as I can.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And for them to feel empowered to continue to ask because they care.
Yeah.
And because they love Jesus, they want to know more.
That's right.
Yeah. So good. Okay. Well, Ryan.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on. And thanks for coming out and blessing our community.
So good to be at the one event.
I know, and it'll be fun too, because I feel like young adults, I want them to feel like connected to Austin too, that campus, because they just want to drive everywhere and go on trips, and they're like, I want to check it out. And so if you are ever over there, go say hi to Ryan. Be like, hey, I heard you speak on the thing at the thing. I want to say hey. Or if you're moving out there too. But yes, so excited about your book coming out.
Thanks, Casey.
And yeah, you're the best. I hope you get some surfing coming up. Trip around the corner.
I've got a few.
Good.
It's that's post book launch. That's my
surf
that's
trip.
my finish line.
Cali or
both.
Gosh, come on, get out there.
Yep.
But anyway, buy his book. We'll put links in the notes and get you that information. And you can it'll make it nice and easy for you guys. As we close, we are a room in the house of Red Rocks Church. And so we're a young adult ministry that meets on Thursdays at our Lakewood campus, but we'd love for you to join us on the weekend. We are marching towards Easter. We have a baptism coming up. We have so much coming up in the life of our church. And so please come. We'd love for you to be in person at one of our Denver-based locations or one of our Austin location. In Denver, we meet at Arvada, Lakewood, Park Meadows, and Littleton. And then services at Littleton are 4 and 6. And then the other campuses, Saturday at 5, and then Sunday at 8, 10, and 12. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.